side, we can hear you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Good evening. Yes, we hear you.
You all for coming. This is the Uniform Service Transportation Committee, June the 6th. Keep in mind, this is our last meeting for the summer. We'll be back in September. So we'll start off with Captain Rose.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Start.
You want to start with me?
Well,
All right. So I don't know, I know everybody's probably curious about 145 to 141 on St. Nicholas Avenue. We have finally started to do enforcement there. All the stakeholders are involved. We're given, I think, a fair amount of notice to figure out their own personal parking situation, whether it be the schools or the transit district or the customers at the fish market. Everybody was spoken to, so we've started doing enforcement there. I saw a number of tickets were written there yesterday, a number of tickets were written there today, and we'll continue that. The enforcement is being done by Traffic Enforcement Division, NYPD Traffic Enforcement Division, and being supplemented by the precinct personnel when they're available. Using the Traffic Enforcement Division is a lot more efficient. They have people that are specifically assigned to address those types of conditions, and they can devote more time there. So we'll continue to have that until we make some progress there. In addition to that, I know there's other city agencies on the line. I don't want to speak to too much, but we're looking at putting delineator strips down on by Riverside Park. I know I'm getting away from St. Nicholas Avenue, but the reason I bring it up is that we're going to look to probably make the same request to put on St. Nicholas Avenue. The purpose of putting the delineator strips, for those that don't know what I'm talking about, it's those plastic barriers that go down the middle of the road that in an emergency can fold down if they're run over, but they do help keep traffic, the flow of traffic in either direction, keeps people from making illegal turns. And in this instance, we did an analysis down by Riverside Park to prevent double parking. Basically, the idea here is if you have a one lane in either direction and you put the delineator strip down the middle, people can't double park, because essentially if they double park, they're going to be blocking the whole road and no car is going to be able to go around. So we're going to do an analysis. We did an analysis down by Riverside Park and we put the request in to have that done down there. And then when I was over there today, I kind of had the same idea for St. Nick. So we're going to make another request to the DOT if we can to have an analysis done there to see if that would help as well. So we're working on it. It's going to be a long process. It's going to be something that we have to keep do routine maintenance on. But I mean, we're fully invested there, and we're looking to make that problem to fix that problem long term. In terms of crime, we see a lot of these moped involved crimes. I'm happy to note that one of the major patterns that was affecting that was driving moped involved crime is closed. They made 2 pretty good arrests on that. That was like a pattern with over 100 victims in it, and that's been closed. So we see, progress there. And crime overall in the 30th precinct right now is up numerically, but like I always say, it's not violent crime. We see an uptick in computer scams, phone scams, mail-related theft, check washing, things like that. So, heading into the summer, I think we look pretty good. Our deployment will continue the way it is down in the park and on the traffic front. So unless you have any other specific questions, that's really about all I have for right now.
Captain Rose, the things that you're talking about on DOT in the middle of the street, they use that as like a street thing, they ride through that.
What do you mean?
What you're talking about is on Broadway. They use that to ride their bikes in the middle of that thing.
Yeah, so the ones I'm talking about, Carolyn, are not so spread out. The ones I'm talking about are a lot tighter, and they're bigger and they're more permanent. They're not the ones, I know what you're saying, not to go in and out and make it like a game.
Right.
They're a lot thicker and they're a lot more not permanent, but a lot more permanent looking. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you could see my Officer Stumer here, just, I don't know if anybody could see,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've seen
but it's,
it.
yeah, it's a lot more substantial than those regular, the smaller ones that you're talking about on Broadway.
Right.
So
Yeah,
it's
they
not
have them on
sufficient.
Amsterdam.
That picture I think was taken Harlem River Drive, you know, but the entrance to the Harlem
Right,
River Drive
right.
over there. But I see them use them a lot in Queens. The new ones, they look nice. They have like a median, it creates almost a median so people can't drive over it. So listen, I think it's a step in the right direction, and I think it'll help if we can get it done. So
Okay, appreciate it. Any questions for Captain Rose?
I have a question on the chat.
go ahead.
Go ahead, Jay.
How are you, Captain Rose?
I'm
Thank you
doing
for
all right.
coming this evening.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm actually one of the tenants that resides on 145th Street in St. Nicholas, 695 Southwest Corner, where the majority of the congestion takes place.
Mhm.
So I really appreciate you coming up with this idea to help us mitigate the traffic. However, there are other agencies and organizations that are involved in this conversation, and the resolution called for a task force to be formed to address the overall concerns of that corner. As I'm sure you've seen videos, I have plenty of videos, not
Yeah.
just me, but other residents and neighbors of what happens there, especially during dismissal time.
Yeah.
From the TD3 parking at all hours,
Yep.
any location, to the Mr. Softy that now has come onto the sidewalk to hang out. So I think yes, it is the last session we have right now, and this has been a topic since 2016, 2017. It's just been aggravating. We definitely need to stick to what we want to do, which is really get everyone together to address each angle, each perspective, and how we can come together to mitigate the overwhelmness, the saturation in that corner.
Yeah, so I don't mean to cut you off, but I agree with you 100%. I'm all about getting all the stakeholders to the table. I spoke with Victor. He helped me reach out to a couple of the schools, and obviously I'm in close contact with the transit district. You know, from my point of view, I kind of said, like, when I opened up here, like, I've given everybody fair warning, right? Like, now we go in and we do the enforcement, and I have no problem doing that now that we've given everybody ample time to kind of figure out a long-term solution. Now, to your point, if they choose not to figure out a long-term solution for themselves, we're just going to continue to ticket their cars. I agree with you that honestly, that might not even be the most effective solution, because somebody that gets a ticket, they might then just come back the next day and get a ticket the next day and get a ticket the next day. And I mean, listen, I wouldn't want to pay all those tickets, but ultimately, if it doesn't solve the problem, then like you said, we're going to have to figure out some long-term solution. The stakeholders that are there, when I was over there today, I still see people double parking to pick up their kids. I still see the transit district there. So I see all the things you're talking about. I also did see a whole bunch of summonses written. So, you know, it's day 2 into our enhanced enforcement, I'll call it there. We're going to monitor it for a couple of days and see how it goes. And then, like you said, if we have to get the stakeholders to the table to come up with a better solution, we're all going to kind of have to put our heads together and figure out what it is. But I'll uphold my end of the bargain in doing the enforcement, and then we'll see how it goes for a couple of days and you know, maybe a couple of weeks. But just because this is the last session of this meeting doesn't mean it's not a conversation that we can continue to have, because obviously it's a problem that's not going to go away. So, you know, I pride myself on my accessibility. I'm usually ready to sit down and have a conversation about it, or answer through a phone call or a text. So just because this is the last session of this meeting in particular doesn't mean it's something that we can't address, you know, more regularly to make sure that we stay on top of it.
No, and I appreciate you coming forward to it being accessible to us.
Yeah.
It's really great that we're finally moving the needle in the right direction at this time.
Yeah.
I think, you know, we also have to focus on the low hanging fruits, such as TD3. They should be addressed immediately.
Yeah.
I think City Cottage should be addressed immediately.
So,
The MTA bus has been there forever, so we're not going to touch that. It belongs there. But the immediate that it needs to be addressed, I think that we've been waiting for a while now, right? Like several years. So I think we can work towards that, I think, now. And I'm willing to help organize. I also can provide space for meetings,
great.
and support for outreach. I'm tied to other groups, so I can definitely support you and Victor Edwards to get this moving along.
I appreciate your help. And Yeah, like you said, I understand about Transit 3 and I've spoken to them multiple times. Actually, I'm sure you've seen
Transit
in the
3
news.
is here today. They can speak for themselves. Let me
Okay,
just,
yeah.
for 1 minute, Captain, I don't want to cut you off, but
No, go ahead.
for those who don't know me, my name is Victor Edwards. I'm chair of the board. I was reached out from 695 Tenant Association. Other people live in that block. We started organizing quite a bit. I was actually down there today with Captain Rios from Transit Division 3. He saw what I was talking about. Captain Rosa and I have been communicating for the last 3 weeks. I saw the tickets. I walked the block again. I saw the tickets out there. MTA should be on the line as well. I spoke to the principal at the school, and the principal said that they've warned the teachers several times, and she said, do what you have to do. So that's what we're going to do. This, as you said, this takes multiple agencies, and I appreciate Captain Rose. I just let him know maybe 2 hours ago. Captain Rios from TD3, he was gracious enough to come up when I was on the block and meet with me, and he's here this evening. He can speak for that. And MTA will have to speak as far as those trucks parked there as well. But we're moving, as you said, the needle's moving in the right direction. We won't stop. I've also been in contact with Chief Stevenson, who commands Manhattan North as well. And he's not here this evening. I'm a little disappointed that I haven't seen more from him. I'm asking for extra help to help both the 3O and TD3 with the situation as well.
So Victor, just one real quick, one thing. So the traffic enforcement resources are coming orchestrated by the borough from Chief
Okay.
Stevenson. So I was in contact with him. That's support from the borough there. So if he didn't reach out to you personally, that's
Great.
that's him helping. So I don't want it to think that he's ignoring it.
Okay, thank you for that update. I appreciate it.
Yep, of course, yeah.
Captain, hold on a minute. There is another problem with that. Those lanes is the problem, number one, because they're narrow. They cut those lanes down on St. Nicholas Avenue, which makes traffic there very hectic. Okay,
Yeah.
I've
So-
spoken to DOT about it.
Yep.
Something needs to be about it to either replace the lanes or widen the lane. Because
So I think,
on St. Nicholas Avenue, they were never that narrow.
yeah, so
Never.
Carol, I think part of the assessment when they come to look at putting these delineator strips in will include the lane structure as well. So we can
Thank you.
definitely put that in. Yep.
All right, thank you. There's another question.
Okay, so,
I just wanted-
Jay, Captain Rose and Victor, I'm gonna speak on behalf of Hamilton Grange Senior Center. That's at 420 West 145th Street between Common and St. Nicholas. They have a loading ADA zone that is now being flooded by NYPD and transit officers' cars, in addition to closed scofflaws. So I think it's the same problem. They cannot get their ADA vans in proximity to the sidewalk. Patrol Officer Martinez and some of the other officers have been terrific at coming over and ticketing. But I think this is an extension of the same issue. And somewhere along the line, maybe DOT Lyle, if you're
Yeah,
on the line, we can chat about, and Stumner, we can chat about maybe designating that space handicap or something, but I think it's all part of the same issue. It's the overall lack of parking. So if you guys want to get together offline, maybe
Yeah.
during the summer, let's get together and figure out, some action steps to this. I think that would be brilliant.
we put that sign that they asked, Concord asked us for that sign. We put it there. Now, my understanding is that they want to upgrade that sign, which I brought it to Lyle's
Yeah.
attention. Okay.
I think this would be brilliant. So something
Yeah, I'll speak
offline
with Lyle.
discussion.
I'll speak with Lyle.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Edwin?
So, thank you, Captain, for coming and giving us your assessment and your willingness to help the community. I think that beyond just traffic, we need to think about the pollution that this creates for the community, the negative health impact that it has on CB9, and those who come here to say that they're helping the community. It's a little bit hypocritical when you are creating a mess in our community and perhaps even affecting our health adversely. It is fantastic that we have your commitment. Hopefully, we can have the others see the issue affecting not only those who live here, but those who reside in CB9. Anybody who has a question about how pollution impacts health, get in contact with me and I'll get you all the data. This is very well documented. We don't need to go back and forth. So thank you for taking a look at this. And I praise the board for moving forward in addressing this quality of life issue.
Thank you.
Carolyn, can, the Captain Rios from TD3 speak since I invited him and he's here?
Yeah, I'm gonna call him next. Okay.
Okay,
Captain,
sure.
yeah. Captain Rose? Okay, Captain Rose, go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, actually. I'm new. Well, this is my second meeting with you guys. I am aware of the situations. As you can see, and as Captain Rose said, very accessible. Mr. Edwards gave me a call today. I went right upstairs. I do see the issues that we have. I've been constantly telling my officers and my supervisors not to park in these bus stops, you know, not to park in the crosswalks, fire hydrants, parking. I do understand that, but like Captain Rose said and Mr. Edwards, just give me a call if you see anything. I'll continue to address this issue. There shouldn't be no parking at all in these areas, particularly on the bus stops, because you know it's not fair to the community. We do understand that. We are at the summer scene as well. We wrote 13 summonses today to you know, illegal people that are parking, that you know, the combat parking where we see at 145, where the officers' cars are, you know, their personal cars. So that's going to help create some spots where we won't have to park, you know, double park. So please, Mr. Edwards has my number. Just give me a call, and I'm looking forward to helping you guys out and make this as best as possible.
All right, Captain Rios, that double parking with your TDP vans, but in the bus stop has been a long-going issue for a long time. They stop for a while, then they're back in there again. It is unfair for elderly people to have to walk in the street to get the bus. It's not fair to them. So that's something that you really need to address first, is those vans in the bus.
Right, correct. A lot of these are the MTA crews that come and work. I have spoken to them. I've told them, and going forward, I mean, I'm gonna have to, you know, just get a truck and try to tow them, because my vans, I see them, they get moved. So it's the MTA personnel that I have to go look for. But please rest assured that that's going to be taken care of.
Appreciate it. Any other questions for Captain? Thanks, Captain Rose, for attending.
Carolyn, just another issue on the southbound side of the street, middle of the block, there's a bus stop there. I ride the 3 bus myself quite often. I ride the train there. You would never know there's a bus stop in the middle of the block because people are parked on the sidewalk diagonally, angle parking as if it's a regular parking spot.
That's true. Yeah.
I passed there today. I made note of NYPD personal vehicles. You have teachers there, and then you just have regular people. Once you with nothing in the window. Sometimes they have a badge, they have a hat, they have a work vest, but there's a lot of cars that have nothing in the window. So Captain Rose, that's another area. Both bus stops in the middle of the block, people park on the sidewalk. So if you have a person who is physically challenged in a wheelchair or whatever, they can't get down the sidewalk. I mean, that is the most outrageous thing that really caught my attention. On the northbound side, I did see today 4 or 5 cars with tickets that were in the bus stop. So they are making some progress there. But, you know, once we send a message, you guys send a message that this won't be tolerated, they'll have to park somewhere else. I ride a bike, I walk, I drive, I take the train. I understand it's getting more and more difficult. And with this trash recycling, trash bin thing they started in our district is only going to make it worse. But officers come to our neighborhood and they just can't, because they have a badge, they just can't take advantage of the parking. Now, I know about a year ago, they set aside parking 145 to 146 on the downtown side of the street where cars park on the curb, right? When I survey that, I see 1 or 2 NYPD cars. Everything else seems to be a personal car. And I don't think that street was taken away from the residents to give personal parking to vehicles. I thought it was to give parking to NYPD vehicles rather than park in the bus stops or wherever. So just like us, they might have to take the train or a bus to get in or find other parking. I stopped in the the garage 2 weeks ago. He has spaces in there. Maybe we can work something out where they'll give a discount. You know, there's just other means we need to work on. But I'm here, and like I said, I appreciate you both coming. I'm here to work with you, not against you, trust me.
Can I chime in for one? So Victor, last summer I had a group of SYEP students, and I had them actually monitor the bike lanes between 135th and 147th on St. Nicholas. On a daily basis, the bike lane was obstructed by parked cars, to the extent that the bike rider would have to go into lane 3. I don't know what that lane is called, but you guys know what I'm talking about.
Right.
So that's another possibility. I can grab SYP students if we want to do a monitoring project, but it really just comes back with digital and visual support of this, the condition.
Yeah.
And the only thing we don't have is the accident rate related to bike riders, but I would imagine
But
there's
that I
something.
can get, but the bus
Yeah.
lanes on St. Nicholas, you know what, never utilized for a long time.
Right, and this is the bike lane, so.
The
yeah,
bike lanes were never utilized for a long time. But Captain Rose, I wanted to ask you a question too. Now it went off my mind.
Sorry about that.
It's so cute. Anyway, it'll come out. Any other questions for Captain Rose or Captain Rios?
Carolyn,
I'll let Heather go first because I spoke, but I have one comment and one question.
Go
Heather,
ahead, Jay.
Oh.
Oh, I don't see Heather.
She's there.
Okay.
I was
Heather?
trying to unmute, sorry, my internet was held up. I just want to reiterate that the spillover problem from 145th Street transfers
So
itself.
I know
to-
there was some kind of regulation about,
whoa,
excuse me, transfers itself to West 147th Street. And the officers from the transit station, TD3, they're placing their placards in the windows in front of the fire hydrant on West 147th Street. And they're also parking during and not moving their cars during the street sweeping hours. So therefore, we're not being able to get our street swept on a regular basis because of these placards that are in the vehicle windows. I ask that, and when I complain to sanitation about it, and we get a lot of sanitation tickets because we can't keep the street clean because it's because the vehicles block the sweeper cleaning process. They say that they don't ticket or they don't provide tickets to police officers' cars because they just tear up the ticket. And so it's becoming very, very problematic. And I just ask that you please reiterate to the officers that their personal vehicles that are interrupting our ability to get our street swept and constantly parking in front of the fire hydrant overnight and throughout the entire day. That's my comment. Thank you.
Jay?
thank you, Heather.
Thanks, Heather. Jay? Somebody dropped it. Okay.
Carolyn, did MTA here?
No.
No?
Monique, you had a question?
We don't, MTA is not on,
They're not on.
and they're not here.
They're not here, no. They were, they're not here. Captain Rose,
Yes,
yeah, the double parking on fire hydrants, okay, which is illegal. There's a lot of that going on, okay? They just leave the cars there all night long, you know. Are you doing anything about that as well?
in a certain area in particular or just in general?
In general, in general,
So double parking on first platoon on the midnight for us, you're saying cars that are left there overnight?
yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a focus of our concern. It solves a lot of problems for us. We see vehicle-related theft. We use double parking as a way to combat that. Vehicles being used in commission of other crimes. I'm giving direction to my midnight platoon all the time to be issuing double parkers. Don't let people hang out on the side streets, double parked overnight. Definitely paying attention to commercial vehicles parked overnight. We were able to help out, for those that come to the community council meetings and hear me speak at the meetings and these type of meetings, I always welcome you pointing out when you see something like that. If you can send me a photo of it and I'll get it to my people right away and we can correct that condition. Up on 155 St. Nick's by the gas station, we had a lot of issues there with parking, double parking, cars blocking the sidewalk. We had to maintain a constant presence there for a couple of weeks, but we finally got it done. We worked with the gas station, had them paint a line on their property line, and now we don't see any cars parked there. So anytime we can focus attention where we need to put it, we'll make it a point of our enforcement and we'll be able to fix it. But as a general course of business, yes, we do enforce double parking on the overnight.
Thank you. With Jay, you back?
Sorry, yeah, frozen. I was mentioning the perpendicular parking on the block that, for what I gathered from another colleague of mine, it's supposed to be illegal to have that type of parking when there's schools on premises so close by. So I think that should be on the agenda to be discussed as well. I know that we have committed to work with TD3 on those parking spots, but we do need to revisit that now that we have a total of 3 schools on that block. And then my other question for Captain Rose is, what is the timeline for the possible upgrades being done to the streets for the congestion?
So it's hard to tell what the time frame is going to be. We put a traffic intel request into the DOT, I'm sorry. We get just by, I'm not saying that I don't want to speak for any other city agency, but we get an automated response that says that they'll get a response to us surveyed by sometime in August. Do I anticipate that being a realistic time frame? Absolutely not. We'll make phone calls and we'll make our presence known and our request a little more prominent than just dropping an email or a digital request. So we hope to expedite that, but that's the response that we got right now, and we're going to reach out to see if we can expedite that.
Sounds good. Thank you. Lyle, are you able to investigate further into the perpendicular parking before we get back together? And give us some kind of, if Lyle is able to investigate for us regarding the perpendicular parking on the premises with the 3 schools, it'd be good to know what DOT has on the books.
The angle parking. DOT frowns on angle parking. I'll bring it up again, but they don't particularly care about angle parking. I'll see what. I've talked to them several times about it, but DOT does that, they frown on angle parking, so more or less, this is not gonna happen, but I'll bring it up again.
Lyle's right there.
Lyle?
Yeah, Lyle.
Right, I mentioned it to you before about Lyle, the angle parking, I know the center is that DOT frowns on angle parking, so young lady is asking about it. So
am I using the correct term for the parking style on the block?
Angle parking? Yeah, you're saying the parking
perpendicular parking, yeah.
That's already.
I've spoken to a safety person at DOT. They brought this up to my attention. That's how I learned about it. So that's why I'm curious, is that if that's going to be put on the agenda as an issue, since we now have 3 schools with 1,000 students. So I'm just curious how we're addressing the safety concerns around that. I would like that to be part of the conversation.
I'll bring it up with Lyle again. He's on now, so he can answer you. Lyle?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I mean, I'm not sure about perpendicular parking. I mean, angle parking is on certain streets. I would think around 145th. The guidelines around angle parking have changed recently due to ADA guidelines. But if you have my email address, you can send me an email. We can have a chat offline. Maybe we can have a conversation further to kind of discuss that area a little bit more.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Lyle.
No problem.
Last issue? Last issue? Okay, Rose.
That's it.
Hey, Captain Rose, quick, so in the historic district along Common Avenue between Common and Amsterdam, we're seeing an increased number of paper license plates. And I'm gonna speculate because I can't say it's the case. The cars are seemingly stored in the historic district and then picked up on a trailer, possibly going to Newark. Speculating they're going to the Dominican Republic And it's all coordinated by a business on 144th Street in Amsterdam that is seemingly a restaurant.
So, I attend regularly the 144th Street Landmark Block Association meetings. Most recently was 2-3 weeks ago. They shared a concern about abandoned vehicles. I've been working very closely with them. They let me know where they are, and when we see where we can go and take them. Obviously, if a vehicle's parked in unregistered or illegal registration or one of these temporary plates and is parked illegally, we can certainly go and take it. I think I like to say I have some of the best in the business when it comes to traffic enforcement. Our numbers, I don't want to speak to specific numbers, but our enforcement is in terms of ghost cars, which is what you're referring to with the paper plates, is phenomenal. We have the thoroughfares, Broadway and Amsterdam, a lot of cars going back up to the Bronx. Your speculation of Jersey is probably not far off, cars being sent all over the world. But to your point about enforcement, to my point about enforcement is that we are definitely paying attention and we're definitely looking at it. We routinely have operations where we target those specific ghost cars, whether it be up at the RFK Bridge or the McCombs Dam Bridge. So we are paying attention to it, and it's definitely got our focus. And I'm definitely working with the 144th Street Landmark Block Association closely to make sure that the cars are not being dumped on that block as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Captain Rose, while you're on, I have a young lady here from, what's your name?
Maya Roberts.
Maya Roberts is here from the former Porch Restaurant. She's here, she put in an application, new application, which I sent to Officer Sumer. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
We don't have a
What's the
problem
question?
with it.
I missed the first part of what you said, Carol. What's the name of the restaurant? Who is it?
It's a former Porch, okay? The new name is,
It's called Comedy in Harlem.
A Comedy in Harlem.
A Comedy in Harlem?
Right, I sent it over to Officer Sumer the other day.
It's also, that's our DBA. The legal name is Lee Heritage Media
Right.
LLC.
Yeah, I put all that on the thing.
Yeah, we have no objections.
Okay, that's what I wanted. Yes, I sent it over. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay. Oh, by the way, while you're on, she filled out the application. We looked over it. She filled it out, right? As I said, we don't have a problem with it. Now that I know you don't either. Okay, thank you so much. I
Is it
appreciate
okay if I just speak about the business?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
Okay,
let
so,
me know.
yeah, so people call me Nikki Sunshine, that's my stage name. I'm a performer, stand-up comedian since 2005. I lived at 146 between Broadway and Riverside for about 11 years. So I'm excited to be back in my community. I feel like this is one of the best communities in New York City. My business was formerly located on the east side, 117th and Pleasant Avenue. And we were there for 2.5 years. We are one of the only Black-owned comedy clubs in the tri-state, really in the country. And so our mission statement is to support Black and Brown performers. We do have eventos también para la comunidad latina. So we're doing a festival, Webpam Comedy Festival in July. And we really are excited to be where we are. We have brought star power to our other location, Tracy Morgan, Sherry Shepherd. So who we are is we are a performance venue. So we're a comedy club, but we intend to be a place for the community engagement. We booked a jazz event, so we're gonna do music events as well. The former Porch was a restaurant, so we do have a kitchen, which we intend to use. We just, right now, we can't afford the equipment, so we're a bar tavern, but we're super excited. Please stop by 147 and St. Nicholas Avenue. We're about class, no riffraff. We had no incidents on the east side. You can check with Community Board 11. And, you know, we're here. We're excited to be here and be a part of the community.
Yeah, we're happy to have you. I'll probably take you up on that and come stop by and meet you and, you know, just check the place out. And, you know, like you said, we don't anticipate any problems and we're happy to have a new business in the area and we'll support you in any way that we can.
Thank you.
Captain Rose, are you on? I had one other, for the Broadway LLC.
Before you move
3395.
on, Carolyn,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, before you move on, may I just say something to Maya really quickly? It's
Yeah.
Daria.
Yeah, I know
Hi,
that.
Maya.
Thank you.
Hi, Maya.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I am your neighbor down the street from the porch, and I'm also the co-chair of Arts and Culture. And somebody actually mentioned your new business at our meeting on Monday. We are on hiatus for the summer, but I do invite you to attend a meeting at your earliest convenience, because we would love to support you in any way that we can. Also, Carolyn has my number. If Carolyn, if you wouldn't mind sharing my contact information,
I will.
if you want to get in touch before September, I would love to hear from you.
Yes, thank you so much. I will be contacting you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Daria. Captain Rose?
Oh,
another
just
application?
one other thing. Sorry, I just want to, it would also be helpful if you also engage the West 147th Street Block Association.
Okay.
And I can get you in contact with the co-presidents, because I also live on that block. I live across the street from you, actually, from your location.
Excellent. And should I, how can I get in contact with you?
I'm also on the community board, so Carolyn can provide you with my email address.
Okay, great.
I'm just a
And Captain Rose, please check your chat. Captain Rose, please check your chat. I'll send you a message.
Captain Rose? Call me on hands, meet that.
I see the chat. We're aware of it, and we'll make it a focus of our attention.
Thank you very much.
Captain Rose, the second one is La Flora D Broadway LLC, located at 3395. I sent that over to Stuma as well. It's a new application asking for temporary retail permit.
We have no objections on that one either, Carolyn.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The 26 Officer Cardenas is not here. And could you stay on a little bit longer, Captain Rose? You might want to hear this.
Yes.
Okay. I have tenants here from Amsterdam Avenue, 1627. Amsterdam Avenue for the Grange Restaurant. We received the application regarding that. We haven't approved it, we just got it. But there are multiple problems with that place. Okay. They don't have a certificate of occupation. There's a lot of things that haven't been done. There's noise complaints. There are people there, but I think Edwin can explain it better. Go ahead.
We're also here to speak on this application as well, so we're happy to answer any questions you have.
Okay.
So we'll let them speak.
You want to go ahead, Adriana?
Sure, thank you.
Okay.
So my name is Adriana. I'm a representative from Helbrun and Levy. I'm here with the owner, Patrick Edwards, and his wife, Arlene, as well. If you want to wave, you guys, so they can see your beautiful faces. So as the board is aware, this premise was previously licensed in the past by the Grange Bar and Eatery. Patrick and his wife would like to open a full service restaurant to serve full liquor. There are a few things that we'd like to bring to your attention. The hours that we had initially put on the application is noon to 4 a.m. Now, the reason being for the late hours on the application is that the applicants would like the flexibility to host, whether it be holiday events, corporate events, and provide an event space for the community, to do simple Christmas parties, birthday parties, to cater to larger dinner parties. We understand if that is a large ask, and we're more than willing to talk about the hours and everything like that. They do plan to have live entertainment on occasion. It would be acoustic music only. It would primarily be jazz and soul music, and various other types, but that would be the primary focus. And again, it wouldn't be an everyday thing. Again, the way that the SLA operates, we try to ask for these things in a broad manner, because it's very hard for the SLA to, say like, okay, if you have an event on this day, on that day, because you don't know what days those events are going to take place until they've been booked by a patron. The premise will have additional soundproofing added. The applicant and the landlord will be working together with a professional sound engineer to make that happen. They do have future plans to use the sidewalk cafe, but as you guys are aware, the Department of Transportation recently just rolled out that permanent program. So when they are ready to apply for that program, we will come back to the board to get more granular about that. But at this point, that won't be added onto the liquor license application. The premise itself is going to be food focused. Again, it's a full service restaurant. The applicants currently have another restaurant about a little less than a mile away. That's Patrick's Place, where they have shown to be great operators, part of the community, showing that they know how to run a licensed establishment and also that they know how to have an establishment with live music and entertainment to enhance the dining experience. It has been mentioned about the certificate of occupancy. So this address does have a letter of no objection from the Department of Buildings on their public database. We are aware that there's some work that needs to be done on violations, and the landlord and the applicant will be working together to get those straightened out. As you guys know, the liquor license process is extremely lengthy, so it provides a lot of time to resolve these issues before the establishment is open. Not to bore you with all of the nitty-gritty things, I do want to give a chance to Patrick and Arlene if they would like to introduce themselves and give you a little bit more of the heart and soul of the concept.
Okay.
Patrick and Arlene, you guys can introduce yourselves.
Okay, I'll go first. My name is Arlene. Thank you all for having me here tonight and to listen to us.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you all for having us. This location is close, near and dear to my heart. I grew up in the neighborhood. Actually, I grew up on 141st Street. I grew up in the neighborhood, as I said. I went to school at PS 192. So for me, this is kind of like a coming home. My parents, my dad, my mom passed away, but my dad still lives in the neighborhood. My sister still lives a few blocks away. So for me, it's a return. I think this was a great area. They did a great job of raising us there. And for me to come back and to offer services to the neighborhood, it's an extremely good opportunity. And I really look forward to doing this. I'm not only looking to do something for the neighborhood, I do own property in the neighborhood, and a lot of the concerns that I heard expressed by the different tenant associations are also concerns of mine for the neighborhood. So I'm looking forward to really being involved and offering something back to the neighborhood, a place where I grew up. And so the concept of the restaurant is to be comfortable, to have everybody have a place within the neighborhood that you can go to. A lot of us, for myself, I work downtown. It's nice to come home and have something in my neighborhood that if I just want to walk to it, I can get there. I remember when this neighborhood did not have anything like that. And to see that being available now to me is great. And I do want to participate in that.
Okay. Well, I'm
And-
sure you know that this is not the first time that we've had problems with the Grange.
Correct.
We've had it in the past. We have tenants here. Edwin, you want to speak on it?
So, thank you, Chair, for giving us the opportunity to speak. We have the Hamilton Heights Association that was born out of the abuse by Alma Realty. You guys who are online, you can just Google real quick Alma Realty, and you'll see the reviews by people throughout the city, not only the folks who are part of the Hamilton Heights Association. They are a landlord who have a reputation. It is not the best for the tenants. And we were born out of that abuse that took place in this place. The Grange that was there, it is not anymore, was a extremely abusive tenant to all the tenants in the building. And we have folks that are 1-year-old pregnant to Miss Robinson, who is 93 years old and couldn't be here, but told me, please, Edwin, make sure that, we don't go through the same thing again. They're definitely afraid. I have Emiliana here who has arthritis. For her to come here, verbatim, what she told me is, I'm gonna be 3 days in pain because of my arthritis. This is so important to these folks. And a lot of times, for you guys and anyone and for the landlord, this is a business. People call this place a home. This is where they live. When any of you go home from work, you can rest. You can choose to go to any place and enjoy whatever entertainment you want to call. These folks, they can't go anywhere else. And with the housing crisis that we have in New York City, landlords, they have weaponized certain strategies to make sure they make the life miserable of those who live in those buildings and the indigenous people who have been living in rent stabilized apartment. Yes, perhaps the landlord think that these tenants are paying very low rent, but I'll remind you that back then, nobody wanted to be here. If you were somebody, can I finish?
Just a quick question for you.
Let
So,
me finish my.
so that
thought,
space
and then
used to
you-
be commercial retail, so is that part of the problem?
It was a commercial space.
Retail.
We used to have a flower shop, we used to have a Blimpie, and before we used to have the bank, if you guys remember that.
Right, yeah, remember.
So, the other question to this whole thing is that, it was converted and fused into one.
Right.
Landmark is something that has to be looked at because that altered how that corner looked. If the residents and the landlord can provide the application that was submitted for Landmark to fuse this, it will be great for us to look at. The other thing is that at the moment, there are numerous violations. And it was mentioned that this was going to be fixed. We were here before, the same question was brought up, and they still not fixed. Just on 5/30, they were reissued a violation for an illegal occupancy. You are speaking of somebody who is a recalcitrant. Not by me, but by DOT, who notes there that this is the second time they go there, they issue a violation, and the second time they go in, the same violation still persists. We have no but little faith on the owner. We don't know the new owners who are coming into the restaurant. However, we do know Alma very well. We know our landlord. We know how abusive they are and how they pay little attention to the tenants' issues. On April 23rd, there were some testing done for the music, at which point, Miss Arredondo, she lived in apartment 31, calls me up and said, Edwin, what is going on? She goes to sleep at 8 o'clock. And this was at around 10 o'clock at night that it happened. I have it documented, but I sent an email to the landlord. Testing the music, the 3rd floor was able to hear it, woke her up. Now you can imagine those folks who live right above the restaurant, myself included, was trapped from end to end into this establishment. So what some might perceive as just a nuisance, to other, it becomes a torture chamber.
Quick question. So Roy and his wife were the owners versus the landlords. Were they responsive, or what's your perception of their responsibility in this?
They were not responsive at all. That's how the tenant association was born. We followed the chain of command. At that point, we started talking to them. Then we went to the landlord, and the landlord, what he said was they paying their rent. That's how all the tenants, that's how the tenant association, as a matter of fact, was born. If it wasn't because of that abuse, I don't think any of us would be here right now. And to your point, there were other establishments there. And this never came up before the community board. Because the abuse that the tenants suffered during the range. And you can just go and, Google them too. So you can see the abuse they did to the community and to the folks that work for them. But this is beyond the scope of the tenants. The tenants are very concerned of the violations that are open. The community board, we cannot be participant recommended any establishment who has open violations without a certificate of occupancy.
Thank you, Edwin.
Yeah, and just for the record, I know that the Grange has been through that before, I know when the Grange was there, they tried to open up under a different ownership. They changed the name. They told us the same things, that they were gonna work with the landlords, try to figure out and deal with the violations, and that never happened. So we don't, there's a history there, and the common denominator is the landlord.
So that's true, like I said. this
If
is
I
not
may
the first
respond.
issue. Hold on one second, this is not the first issue with Grange, okay? Grange has been a long problem going back in the eighties. I believe Edmund was at that meeting, we had the 2-6 precinct there. They didn't approve of the application, we're not going to approve of the application tonight. Because first of all, Detective Cardenas is not here to speak on it, so I would have to run it by her. And being that this is the last meeting until September, I can't tell you that she's gonna contact me anytime soon, but I haven't even sent her the application because I got so many complaints about it that I can send it to her anyway, but right now I can only tell you, we're not approving this application right now.
I could just say personally, I live 2 blocks away from the Grange. So I'm one of those folks, I've been there at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. So when I loop it all together, I can understand the issues. Because the person that would be the customer and you're drinking and eating and it's noisy and it's fun, that's terrific for me. It's healthy you. So I sort of get it.
Right.
And until 4 o'clock in the morning, folks have to,
With sleep.
it's a torture chamber.
And there was a electrical fire there as well.
Indeed.
And I remember we got, information from the fire department saying the cause for that fire was because of shoddy electrical work that was done. And that was the responsibility of the landlord.
It's a bigger issue.
It is a bigger issue. Like I said, it is a problem, but nothing can be done about it tonight because the Officer Cardenas is not here to speak on it. I did ask Captain Rhodes to sit in to just get an idea from him what his thoughts were. Captain Rhodes, you have a comment to make?
There was a lot said there, Carolyn. I don't really have any specific comment right now. I mean, we could have that as a part of a much larger conversation, I think, going forward. I don't really have anything much to say right now.
Okay.
May I add an additional comment?
Hold on a moment, Young lady, go ahead.
Yo soy una señora de 78 años que el día que estaban haciendo la prueba el 23 de abril a las 10:15 de la noche, ya yo estaba durmiendo porque yo me acuerdo ya a las 8:30 de la noche, a las 9, ya estaba durmiendo y cuando prendieron esa música, pues yo lo que hice fue asustarme. Igualmente, el 28 de abril, cuando hicieron la inauguración y la prueba de todo, fue igualito. Yo solamente le pido que tengan consideración de que ahí viven muchas personas mayores, niños y muchas personas enfermas. Que hay que tener consideración porque todos somos humanos y no solamente el dinero lo es todo.
Just to give you the quick translation of that, she's a 78-year-old woman who lives in the building, suffering from health problems. She said that on 2 occasions while they were doing testing on the music, she was woken up. I guess the testing happened after she went to sleep around 10:15, 10:30. And, it scared her. What she's asking for is just consideration. When you're doing testing, not to do it so late at night. She says there are a lot of people that live in the building that are elderly, that have health problems. You have young children. She just wants that human consideration to be given to them because it's their home and they really have no other choice, like Edwin set.
Yeah, but no testing should be done late at night, not at all.
When I went down and I spoke to Mr. Patrick, he told me that he was told that the place is soundproof. If it is soundproof, how do you get to hear on the third floor? How do you get to hear, and that is, we have a history with the landlord. Like I tell folks, you don't have to take my word. Just Google Alma Realty and you know who you're dealing with.
While we're hearing your concerns and we are listening to you, we hear you, and we sympathize with the bad experiences you guys have had in the past with this particular landlord and with the previous tenants. Again, I cannot stress enough that these are new operators. You have not dealt with these operators yet. And even though the place already has existing soundproofing measures, the new applicants coming into this place are doing these sound testing things at these specific times to combat what the noise is outside, what the noise is inside. So a lot of times when these sound engineers come in, they are doing it during different times of day so that they can match those levels. And as I had mentioned in the beginning when we started talking, is that they are going to be adding additional soundproofing measures so that that won't be the case. But they have to get a reading on the sound decibels to see what is going to be installed, so you guys won't hear that, you won't feel anything. And like we had mentioned in the beginning, we are more than happy to compromise on the late hours. Again, the late hours wouldn't be an everyday thing. It would just allow them to have flexibility as operators. And again, they have an establishment already where they don't have complaints. They have a great relationship with their neighbors, with their community. And like Arlene said in the beginning, Arlene grew up in this neighborhood. She still has family in the neighborhood. So this is personal for her and for Patrick, and they don't want the life of you guys, the residents, the community, the people that are going to be affected every single day to be impacted negatively. So we are just asking that you give us the chance to prove to you that we want to provide a place for you to come to, a place that enhances your quality of life, that brings the community together, and that will be better than the people that were there previously. And it will be different this time around because they're proactive, because they're engaged, that they are going to hold the landlord accountable to fix the issues that are at hand, because at the end of the day, it's in your best interest and their best interest.
So Adriana, to be frank and clear, it's not in their best interest. There's an issue of warranty of habitability, and they're guaranteed that. So this is a matter of what should be given to the tenants. They don't have to compromise. So there should be no disturbance. This is not anything where you can say, hey, tolerate this. That's not something.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm not asking anyone to tolerate anything. I'm asking to have a conversation and for there to be trust that there can be conversations so that everyone is happy. They're already doing the work to combat the noise mitigation. And yes, are you guys hearing noise right now? Yes, that was to do the reading for the sound decibel, as I had mentioned, so that they can implement the proper soundproofing that the previous tenants did not.
But I think,
Can you hear me? Can someone hear? Can you hear me?
Yes.
they cannot be impacted. That's the
My
issue.
hand is up, Carolyn, when you get a chance. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Go ahead,
Can you hear me?
Patrick, just give us 1 second.
1 second, Daria.
I just would like to jump in here. I hear what the tenants are saying, and Lord knows I sympathize. I would like to just say, sort of reiterate what their attorney just said, is that these are new operators, And it sounds like the fact that there was a sound test that they are trying, I mean, clearly if it was in the middle of the night and waking people up, that wasn't the right time to do it. But I'm wondering if, you know, how we as the community board can sort of use this time to kind of bring, you know, bring this everyone together to see how we can make this work so that these new operators can have a chance, because they are not all of this, you know, the feelings that are involved regarding all of the inconveniences and the, you know, torture. And again, I sympathize because I've been in the same situation, not there, but, you know, I understand. But I think that we are missing an opportunity here to have an actual conversation about what is needed, because they can't speak for what has happened before. We can only move forward. And since we are in this stage where they're trying to get their licenses, they're trying to get the sound test, they're trying to get things done properly. If this is done with the association and the tenants involved, and possibly the community board if needed, then we might be able to have a great business that everybody can be happy with.
Well, Daria, I understand what you're saying, but as I said, the application cannot be approved tonight.
Understood.
Right, Officer Cardenas is not here. As I said, she would have to go over the application. And to be honest with you, the 2-6 is not gonna approve this. I can tell you that now, okay? But I'm gonna send it to her anyway. Leave it up to her. She's the officer. If it comes back to me, they don't approve it, then we set it downtown. That's all we can do.
And the reason,
Being fair.
the reason for that is that there are still open violations
Exactly.
with the DOB that are open.
And
they-
those are
recently-
from the landlord, correct? Those
That's
are
from the
land.
landlord.
Okay.
I have
So
two
Edwin, how
pages.
can we get you together with the new operators so that we can find a middle ground, or find something, you know, that makes it work for the tenants?
So
Yeah,
can
go-
I say something?
Go ahead,
I-
sir. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, my name is Patrick Edwards. I'm Arlene's husband and one of the gentlemen that co-owner of this place here.
Okay.
And I'm listening, but it seems, and you know, I have another bar and restaurant on 8th Avenue. And you know, with that, I have one stop patty shop on 145th Street in Amsterdam for 45 years. Right? The problems up there with anyone, right? So this is Patrick at the St. Patrick here, a Vietnam veteran. All right. Now, my thing is, I'm listening to this gentleman, right? And it seems like he has a problem with the landlord, and he has had a problem with the previous owners. Now, all we are asking for is a chance to correct whatever situation that the previous owners were doing, and you know, we are going to do our situation much better. You know, I'm doing it here for 9 years at Patrick's Place on 8th Avenue. And like I said, I've been doing it for 45 years at One Stop Patty Shop on 145th in Amsterdam.
Okay, Edwin? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, young lady.
My name is Juana Vázquez. Mi nombre es Juana Vázquez.
I don't speak Spanish, so if you
That's
need
okay.
I will tell you what she says, what she's saying after.
We're gonna translate for you.
Mr. Edwin, you'll tell me. Go ahead.
Mi nombre es Juana Vázquez. Quiero resaltar que desde el inicio mi esposo habló con este señor que piensa instalar el restaurante allí, y mi esposo le dijo a él, mire, somos vecinos, yo vivo ahí abajo en el basement, soy el más afectado, y es así. Mi esposo tiene 64 años, se levanta a las 5 de la mañana a trabajar todos los días, merece descansar donde para vivir. Y él le contestó a mi esposo, cuando mi esposo le hizo la señalización, le dijo, mire, que para que se considerara y hubiera respeto, y le dijo, yo no tengo que ver con eso, yo tengo que sacar mi dinero que yo invertí. Entonces, vamos mal porque tenemos que ser conscientes de que en el barrio donde tú vas a estar, tú tienes que respetar para que tú recibas respeto.
Yeah, so what she's saying what Ms. Vasquez is, just told us is that she lives in the basement, with her husband. Her husband's 74. He wakes up very early in the morning to go to work at 5 in the morning. And, she said that he actually had a conversation with you, Mr. Edwards, when the, I guess the sound testing was taking place. And
No,
asking, is that not what happened?
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. I haven't had a conversation. The only person I've
Patrick,
had a
let's let them finish translating so we can all hear what was said.
So
All right.
what did I get wrong?
So,
Go
she's, what,
Go ahead.
Oh,
Go
go ahead.
so he had, when you saw Mr. Patrick,
Uh-huh.
Mr. Edwards around, Omero came around, talked to him and told him, look, I live here,
Right.
and for there to be an amicable relationship, because, look, I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And what was told to Mr. Romero, who what she mentioned is that Romero has worked at Columbia for 30 years. If you wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, you'll see Romero walking here. He has not missed one day at Columbia. He has these certificates. And this is why I stay with these people, because it pains me that you have them, that their only crime was that they're not educated. They didn't get a formal education, and people feel like they can come and trump them. But he has a certificate in his home, 25 years, no absentee. And what was told to Romero was, I invested my money, I need to get my money out. That's what she said. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
That's what she said.
So this is not just about the previous owner and the current abusive landlord. This is about also what just started that hasn't even been kicked off. That has been started, thus many violations still being there. So, I cannot speak to anyone's characters. I can only speak to your actions.
I have a whole 3 pages here of violation. And I have them here, so, I mean, we can go on.
We understand that there's violations, but we strongly encourage the board and everyone here to understand that these violations are not occurred from the applicants themselves. Yes, they need to be fixed and they will be fixed, but we can't continue to be penalized for that because they weren't done by us.
So we understand that, but the bottom line is that there's still a violation, whether done by you or the former one. They still have.
And as I had mentioned, that the liquor license process is so lengthy that we are required to notify the board and notify the SLA because it takes about 9 months for them to review an application. So we are talking to you in such an early stage of getting things straightened out for the business, working out the kinks, whether it be the method of operations or the back of house, front of house, admin level things. And so those things will be taken care of before their license is issued by the SLA. So that's why we would like to just kindly remind you guys that, again, those violations are not from the applicants. We are required by the board and the SLA to notify you in such an early stage of starting the business process and the licensing process that not everything is going to be perfect at this moment in time when we come to speak to you guys.
We understand that. So let me be clear. I deal with SLA licensing all the time. It doesn't take them 9 months to process an application. I just gave.
That's the current timeline that we are experiencing.
They give you their time frame, but however, I'm not gonna argue about that. The bottom line is, I realize it may not be you, but it's still here. And until I speak with Officer Cardenas, as I said, the application will not be approved tonight.
Yeah,
That's all I can say.
and I think what we have to emphasize here, Adriana, to both Arlene and Patrick, is that they need to work with the tenants of that building. They're neighbors. They must take into account and consider, be considerate about that they've been there, they live there, this is their home, and you have to work together. And I think a lot of this history with the landlord, with the previous owners, what hurt them is that they were not given that consideration.
I'll stress the fact that every SL application that comes, to the board, I get it. This one goes to the various streets. This one goes to the 26th, the one I told them before went to the 30th. There are times I have 10 applications. So I break them down, 8 go to the 2-6, 8 go to the 3-0. I go by one, and I go through everyone. Once I go on the SLA slam, it tells me that there are issues there, and I go down the list and tells me the what year, the year, then I let the precinct know, and then they deny the application. I will give this, as I said, I will send it to Officer Gonzalez. She will let me know yes or no. Then we'll get back to you.
And can they provide the, because the landmark, you know, they said that it was done legally. I'm sure the landlord has those records. When the Grange converted from 3 establishment of the I-card has noted to 1. Everybody who live in this community know that those were 3 establishments. Flower Shop, Bank, or Blinky, and then the salon.
Right.
Those Dominican ladies, they were kicked out in, I think it was, before Thanksgiving.
Oh, this year? I mean, last year?
That was a couple of years ago.
Okay.
They were, no, before the pandemic, it was way before.
Right. Was that building ever landmarked?
It is a landmark.
Okay, so what happens is, go to the landmark committee. That didn't fill up that paperwork. It was landmarked. And that will stop them also.
Yes, because they converted it, they fused it into one. So that paper, if that building
It's
was
landmarked.
converted illegally to that one, you have to reestablish it to what it was. the 3 that it
Exactly. What
was.
you do, you have to put it back.
Yes.
So I'll go to landmarks, they will tell you, they'll even pull up the records and tell you, if it's a landmark building, that's another issue.
Okay.
Monique, you had a question?
I have
All
a
right.
question.
Okay. Okay, can I say something?
Go ahead, Ms. Edwards.
Yes, so okay, I'm fine with whatever the gentleman wants to take care, but let me address what the gentleman beside you said just now, right? We could, you know, I haven't, or my wife and I, we haven't even had a chance to work with anyone because this gentleman has a tenant and he has his 2 tenants, or 2 other people, tenants there, that's commenting on everything that has happened with the previous people that were there, right? We haven't even had a chance to, you know, I mean, fight for ourselves to say, well, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to take care of the situation. You know, based on what this gentleman next to you on the table just said, he said, okay, my wife and I need to have considerations for people that live in the building. Yes, we're going to, but we haven't had a chance to even do that yet. You know, because, you know, here is the gentleman over there that's speaking about, you know, the breaking up of the building or the stores and whatever. You know, he's already saying that he's got, to me, he's kind of giving, saying that, well, okay, you know what, he don't think we have a chance, or he don't think we could work with the tenants or work with him, you know, to do things better. And
I don't think they're saying that. I think that the community, they're just asking to have more open communication to work with you guys. So I that may be getting lost, but I think that everyone at the end of the day does want to have a conversation and come to a common ground. And we just will continue to work together as a community and to prove that that is the priority, to make everyone happy and to make sure that no one's quality of life deteriorates at all. And, you know, no one's perfect. Nothing's ever perfect. We learn from our mistakes and we're hearing everyone, and the new tenants will learn from the previous tenants. And we are taking in everything that you guys are saying.
So, Ms. Adriana, can I say something? And I sympathize with you, Mr. Patrick Edwards and Ms. Pottinger, because as a business owner, I'm sure that you've invested a substantial amount of money into this building. But what you haven't said to allay the fears of the tenants is that it's an eating and drinking establishment and it won't be loud noise. There are plenty of restaurants on Broadway in this Sugar Hill, Hamilton Heights, where people go in and eat and drink. But what you haven't said to allay the fears of the tenants is it's a restaurant and we're not gonna have loud noise. Occasionally,
that's
there
what
may
we
be
were
a
saying in the
party.
beginning, is that it is a food focus, Patrick. It is a food focus, Patrick.
One at a
Adriana,
time.
let Adriana speak. We
One
can't
at
all
a
speak
time.
today.
One at a time. Go ahead, Maya.
So I agree with your statement, and I think that's what we were trying to communicate before, that we will not have something to make the tenants
Uncomfortable.
uncomfortable. And that was our effort to get to that point, was having somebody professional come in and address the sound, because I grew up in an apartment building. I know what it is to have somebody below you or above you who are constantly disrupting either your dinner or your sleep, and you can't function. And when you get up in the morning, you're tired. As I said, I grew up in this neighborhood. I had friends on the second floor in that apartment, so I do know what it is, which is why when we started this and we heard about the previous problems, we were going to try to make an effort to work with the tenants. I understand what it is to be in a building. You have multiple people, multiple personalities. What we're asking for is the opportunity to meet with you and to work with you so that we can get everything to both our satisfactions. And that is what Adriana was trying to communicate, that we're starting the process early to have everybody air their thoughts and their grievances and their desires, so that all of that can be addressed appropriately. Because I believe we have the right, as people who have been in the neighborhood, also to bring things to the neighborhood and to participate in the neighborhood. And you yourselves have the right, because that is your home, to have an environment where you feel comfortable. So how do we get to the point where we're working together to get to that end goal?
Okay, well, first of all, I need to get with Officer Cardenas, all right, number one. And I also noticed your hours of opening from 12 noon to 4 a.m. 5 days a week. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
We are more than willing to make accommodations and adjustments in all of that.
Right, all right, I mean, it's a conversation that can be had, you know. I can't do it tonight, you know, but I will send the application to her. Once I hear back, I will notify you. As I said, this is our last meeting for the summer. We're not back until September 5th.
And Chair Carolyn, I understand that this is the last meeting until September. So if, you know, since there is some time until the next meeting, what we can do is we can obviously take the time to talk to the tenants more in detail and, you know, in a more intimate manner, and, you know, walk through the spaces together and everything like that. Send over the sound reports that were done so that everyone can see those as well. And also, I can talk to the applicants offline about amending the hours and sending those amended hours for the board's review as well after tonight's
all right.
meeting.
Okay, Edwin, we're not gonna schedule anything now. Okay, I have to send this to the precinct. Okay. Once I hear back, I'll let you know as well. As it stands now, before I go ahead. Heather, you had a question?
Yeah, she just handles part of it. I appreciate the noise mitigation efforts. That's very important. And thank you for engaging the community board. If you could just tell us briefly, what is your cuisine? And what do you anticipate will be your primary hours of operation outside of these special events that you spoke about?
Well, our primary cuisine will be we're Jamaican, so it will be a mix of fusion of Caribbean food and American food. So you'd get your patties and your jerk chicken, but you'd also be able to get hamburgers and eggs, you know, that type of thing. That would be the primary cuisine with some other things. That's not the whole menu, but that's just a highlight of it.
Okay, and your primary hours of operation?
Our hours of operation, we would like to do definitely do lunch, and we would like to do dinner. We would like to have some music, because we found that people enjoy music with their dinner, and I do realize that is, and so if the board needs us to small the hours, I think that's something we could work with the tenants to find out what they're comfortable with. I don't want to put hours in there to say we can't operate if they're, I mean, 4 o'clock would not be it, if that's definitely uncomfortable for the tenants, but let's see what is it that tenants can work with.
And the noise report will be very beneficial to the board, as well as what products that you're using for your sound mitigation efforts.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks very much.
Currently, what you have is both speakers sitting right below my bedroom. And, you know, I have those pictures, I can send them to you, Carolyn, I can just leave right here right now, take a picture and show it to you. You got it, so, you know, it is, I know that, everyone is just trying to advocate for themselves and, you know, once the establishment gets there, it's a different story. We're not speaking just about the previous owner, we're speaking about the interaction with the current owners. We welcome the conversation, the rejuvenation of thinking of the people who live there. But we need to be cognizant that historically, these landlords, they have used people that look like us to displace us. And in this building, what we have is a landlord who neglects us. I will be sending you an email that I have with a landlord recently in which the guy completely doesn't care about the current establishment. So we have to understand that people live here. Like you said, we haven't warned the habitability, right? People have the right to live in their spot. To say, well, Ms. Arredondo, now you're not gonna go to sleep at 8 o'clock because we gotta run a business until 10, 11 p.m. You know, how can we compromise that?
You're right. And to keep in mind, most establishments that are open are not open Monday through Friday. We don't have bars anymore. We have what they call sports bars. And they're open Monday to Friday, open Monday to, let's say Thursday, from maybe 12 to 2 a.m. Friday and Saturday is usually the busy time. We say open to 4. That's by law. That's by SLA law, okay? But so the thing about it, you're gonna check with landmarks, once you get landmarks, once you get the answer from landmarks, let us know, we'll set up a meeting back with you all, okay? And once I hear from Officer Cardenas, I'll get in touch with Edwin, my co-chair Solomon, first, Vice Chair Monique. We will set up a meeting, okay, with you all, once I get that.
You don't want to take anything away from Barry,
Well,
but
well, I was at one time, so I'm lost to.
it's okay.
Adriana, Arlene, Patrick, we definitely appreciate you coming to the meeting, talking, having this discussion. I think it's a sign of good faith on your part. And I think we, you know, I hope we can work together, all of us. You know, we're pro-business. We want more businesses in our neighborhood.
We don't have personality issues.
Right.
That's something, let's stop the personality issues, okay? Edwin's made a point, this is true, okay? So that we're gonna work together, we have to be straight up with each other. That's the bottom line. So once I get this information, Ms. Pottinger and Adriana, I will let you know, Edwin and I will meet, and we'll get back to you.
Okay,
You
we thank you for taking the time to hear us and talking to us this evening, and letting us be heard. So thank you very much for that.
You're quite welcome. So send your information to the board, they'll send it to me, so I'll have to get in contact with you. and
Okay,
I'll
I've
get-
been in contact with Madison. Is that the right person I should be speaking to when sending the information?
Yes.
Yes. yes.
Okay,
And Mad-
okay, so
Madison will
I'll-
get it to me.
Madison is here with us.
Madison is
Okay.
here with us.
Okay.
They said they did some testing for noise, they probably just sent you a report also.
They did.
That's what she said,
But you guys need to do more soundproofing, right? Is our understanding?
Yes, so everything's still in the works. The testing that has been done so far is to gauge how much soundproofing that needs to be added and what specific materials will be added.
Okay, can they send that plan to you guys?
Oh, can you send the plans to the board?
Yes, so that's what I was saying. I'm gonna send an email to Madison, who I've been in contact with. I will submit the reports that were done. I'm also going to talk to Patrick and Arlene offline to talk about different hours and sending everything over to the board as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Ariana, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Excuse me, I had a question.
Patrick and Arlene, I'll call you offline. I'm so sorry,
Okay,
guys.
will do. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Cheers, I had a question.
I'm here.
Go ahead, Miss Edwards.
Oh,
Yeah,
does he
no,
want to speak? Go ahead.
I'm
Patrick, we're gonna speak offline.
Yes, okay, but I
Okay.
wanted to just say to the board and, you know, the two people there and the gentleman, you know, I heard him say something, you know, and you know, I'm here, the chair saying that, you know, don't be personal, and I don't want to be personal
He
about
didn't say
anything.
it, I said it.
Right, okay, but I don't want to be I just wanted, he said that, you know, the gentleman downstairs worked for Columbia for 30 years, and, you know, it seemed like I was trying to displace him, stuff like that. You know, I worked for the VA hospital for 30 years, right? And I didn't miss a day, but, you know, I'm here in my community, running my business, you know, and I just like to have the opportunity to my other business. All right.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Edwards.
I like the patties too.
Yeah, I like the patties too.
That's fine. I enjoyed the patties. Cheers, I just had a quick question or a follow-up to Heather's earlier comment, so it's not related to this, I just didn't get a chance to speak. Heather talked about the concerns about the parking and how it impacts the cleanliness of the streets. And she mentioned 147th. I also would like to reiterate, it's an issue on 146 where I reside. And I heard Solomon state that sanitation has been invited to come to these meetings, and I don't know if they've not come as of yet.
They don't come to this meeting, they used to come,
Okay,
but when we got to constraints with backers, they only go to users meeting.
I
What
see.
they afford to her, she lets me know.
Okay.
If there's any kind of an issue. I mean, I see them on the park side, the days that they do come, and I know about the days that they don't come.
Right.
They're not doing it every day, but
Well,
I can get the message. If you don't take it back, they'll get back. to you.
yeah, because it's an issue in terms of cleanliness. The street sweepers aren't able to effectively clean. And I guess it goes back to what we talked about with the cars. So the captain is here. He has heard the concern about the cars being illegally parked or not moving when they're supposed to. So I guess that has to be tied into that so that we can have a neighborhood or neighborhoods that are properly cleaned.
Exactly. No, I agree.
So I just wanted to make sure I interjected that as well.
No, I agree.
Thank
I
you.
agree 100%. But sometimes I'm worried. Oh, Officer Wilburn, are you still on? Officer Wilburn?
PSA 6, anyone from PSA 6?
They're not PSA 6.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks, Officer. You have a report.
Hi, I'm gonna put the report in the chat or send it to your email if that's okay.
Yeah, send it to me, okay?
Okay.
That'll be fine.
Carolyn, if I may, where's Officer Wilborn from? Can she identify herself for the board,
This
please?
This is
Formerly-
Officer Wilborn,
From?
PSA 6 Community Affairs.
Okay,
Good
you have
evening, everyone.
nothing to
I've been
report
here the
to
whole
us?
time. I've been listening.
Good. You have
Yeah.
anything to report to us regarding PSA 6?
So
I
for
just
PSA,
asked her that, Victor.
Yeah, I'm asking again.
Yeah.
okay, for PSA 6, I would like to invite you guys to National Night Out. It's gonna be August 6th. It's gonna be in the 2-4 precinct this year. Every borough is gonna have National Night Out, so they have different locations. I will see to it that you guys get more details about the event.
Okay. I know every precinct does it. I know the 30th is August. All of them all of the precincts do it on the same day. All of them.
Yes.
Yes, so.
And then
I can't.
also we
promise.
have, I'm sorry.
My question is, I know you're PSA Community Affairs, all right? Are you under Chief Stevenson now?
Well, we're under CAB, so we're under the Community Affairs Bureau. So he's in charge of Patrol Borough, Manhattan North.
Right.
So we,
Okay, yeah, thank you.
okay.
Go ahead. Good.
Oh yeah, so I just wanted to mention the PC's Day of Play for the kids. Just to keep them busy, keep them off the streets. So starting June 26th into August, there's gonna be a day of play. Yeah, like an open street. So we chose Manhattanville as our location. So the kids will have a safe place to be.
in the summertime for a couple hours. We provide them with like basketballs, soccer balls, things to just keep them busy. And we're collaborating with the 2-6 precinct. So it's gonna be every Wednesday, starting June 26th up until August. To give the kids, you know, a safe space where they can play for a couple hours, and we'll have the YCOs there along with community affairs and the 2-6 precinct.
I got the email one. I don't have an objection to do. I don't have a quorum, but I can send it out.
Okay.
But I don't think we have a problem with it.
Send it to.
And it's over there. in the,
Okay, and yes, I will send.
It's the 2A. Yeah, send it to me again, but like I said, we don't have a problem with it because it's over there in Grand Houses or Manhattanville. And that's the 2A.
Oh, it's gonna be in Manhattanville this time. Yeah, Manhattanville.
Okay. Yeah, we don't
Yeah,
have a
not
problem.
Grand Houses, Manhattanville.
Manhattanville, okay.
Okay,
I
so
don't have a problem with that. Yes.
everyone's welcome.
Okay.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Starting June 26th.
June 26th to August, right.
Yeah, June 26th is the start date. It's every Wednesday.
Right. To August
4 to 7.
27th, okay.
4 to 7.
Yeah, I know the time.
Yes. So
The date?
everyone's more than welcome to come out.
You wanted the date, right?
Yeah,
What is the date in August?
the August date is 27th, she said.
Oh, 27th.
Right, but it's every Wednesday. Yeah, I got the email.
Every Wednesday.
Right. All right, thank you. We don't have a
Most
problem with it.
welcome.
I'll mention back to Officer Cardenas because that's her precinct. But I don't think she had a problem with it.
Okay.
We just was Lyle.
Lyle, you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay. You sent me an email today. I got so much on my head that I didn't even know. But one of the questions I wanted to ask you was, my street light across the street.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the letter I sent you in response.
Yeah, I got a response that it was approved.
Yeah.
I just want to know update.
Yeah, that's all I know for now. I know that the request for additional street lighting on 133rd and Broadway was approved. I have to follow up with my colleagues in order to check with them as to when that's going to happen. I think there's a hole on 133rd already on the northeast corner, so I think what they might do is add additional arms, which should hopefully, eliminate the area some more. But I'll be in contact with you when I get some more information. But that was approved.
Okay.
There's flying folks. So
Yeah, I got the letter.
okay.
Any other update?
You have any other updates, Lyle?
Yeah, a couple of quick things. Just first of all, Lyle Blacker from DOT. Just wanted to advise of something that our program is doing in regards to summer streets. DOT Art has recently released the Summer Streets Art Interventions Request for Proposals. Summer Streets is an annual event taking place later this summer on select Saturdays. Miles of New York City streets are open in both directions for people to play, walk, and bike along while taking a break at the route rest stops to enjoy free activities. And as a part of the event programming, DOT Art is seeking proposals for artwork to activate the event routes as a one-day installation throughout all of 5 event dates. Selected artists may receive up to $20,000 to cover all expenses to design, fabricate, and present the artwork. And artists may consider an additive format with components created through public participation, allowing the artwork to shift, grow, and evolve throughout each event date, and the event series. So I say all that to say the application for the RFP, at least to submit an application to be part of Summer Streets, is on June 16th. So 2 Sundays from now. I can send the link in the chat if anybody wants to apply, or if anybody knows any artists who might be interested, along with the link for the guidelines for the RFP process, if anyone's interested. It's something that DOT does every year. I know we've had some locations in MCB9 over the years, and it's a really good event that pretty much activates the streets over the summer. So again, if you know any artists that might be interested, this might be something where they can definitely work with us, and we can activate the space hopefully on a couple of Saturdays during the summer. Next, in regards to milling and resurfacing, again, I'm sure you still see our crews up there. We are currently going to be in CB11, so East Harlem, for a little bit. So I think we might be done with North Manhattan for now. Usually we come up later on in the season, so probably toward the late summer, August, September. Gonna fit our locations. Where you feel DOT needs to mill and resurface, but we haven't gotten to yet. Please let me know, reach out, and I'll see if we can add that to a future list. One last thing, I'm not sure if you guys have noticed, I think they were just actually installed sometime this week. DOT installed 2 new speed bumps on Convent Avenue between 135th and 140th Streets, so by City College, which will hopefully help.
Yeah, I saw the email.
Yeah, so hopefully it'll help to mitigate any speeding that goes on around the area. That usually tends to be a highly trafficked area as far as pedestrian activity. So we installed some speed bumps there, hopefully to make sure that cars at least go a little bit slower when driving through that section of Convent. That's it for me, at least for this month.
Just one question: the Hallelujah congestion pricing stop.
I think that's not DOT. I mean, we've had conversations with DOT. I'm sorry, with MTA in regards to.
I'm just saying hallelujah, that's all. I don't live down here, but I know it's congestion pricing that stop.
To the chairs, so this issue of ADA loading, unloading in front of the senior center. I spoke with Officer Stummer, and during the hiatus, can Officer Stummer, Lyle, and not Stumer? My apologies, Stummer, you're Stumer. Can we get together and talk about how to improve it so that the vans can we meet on the sidewalk?
Well, we don't normally meet, but we can. Lyle, remember we had a request for that sign that they have.
And the sign is there.
The sign is there, but now you wanna widen the sign or you wanna make it?
There are some issues.
Okay,
And-
Lyle, can we speak offline about that?
Yes.
Sure. Yeah, we can, as Carolyn says, even though the committee's not meeting until September, trust me, we're still very active during the summer. So, yeah, it can be something, conduct a site visit or have further conversations offline. That's no problem. And Carolyn has my information, so she can put us in contact. No problem.
Okay.
Thank you.
JM, you had a question?
Just a quick question, maybe I already missed this, Lyle. Do we have a sense of the work that's happening on 155th in Riverside? It's bordering CB12 and CB9 going off to the bridge. There's a lot of construction that's been going on for a while, but I'm not sure what's the timeline on that.
Yeah, so that's, you're talking about the viaduct, right, by Riverside, by 155th.
Yeah, where they're doing a whole upgrade.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, so real quick, that's by the border of the CBs 9 and 12 on Riverside Drive. I guess you can see Riverside Drive West.
Correct.
Riverside, next to the water. So real quick, over the past couple of years, our Bridges Division has been in that area basically doing rehabilitation of the viaduct. It's been about 45 years since the last rehabilitation has been done. So it's about time in order to essentially bring it up to code again to make sure that it's safe for the next 45, 50 years. So we've been there for the past couple of years, and yes, there's a lot of we've been having conversations, with residents, as issues come up. As of now, the time frame for that should run either, I want to say probably through early next year. Issues as far as just delays, the pandemic, that sort of thing. So it's kind of pushed back a couple of things, but as of now, the time frame for completion should be early 2025. But definitely, as information comes in or updates, I'll pass this along to you. And if you can't reach me, we do have community coordination liaison on site, Valerie Torshon. I'm sure you guys are familiar with her. She's definitely.
I get her reports every week.
Yep,
Yeah, I get them every week, Lyle.
Yep, every week she sends over an update as to what's going on, bulletin to the board, to the stakeholders, and we do have an office, DOT satellite office, at least for this project. on 150th and Broadway. So Valerie's there every day, leaves on the weekdays. And she's there basically, to, field any concerns, answer any questions, and, follow up with anything that anybody might have. So we're working there, and we're going to be there for a little bit, but we'll definitely keep you updated as information comes along.
Thank you. I
Thanks,
appreciate that. I will connect with Carolyn because I'd like to be part of the updates.
Sure.
No
Thanks.
problem, Jay.
Thanks.
No problem. I'll talk with you if not tomorrow, next week, okay?
Okay, I'll be around. We'll be in touch.
Any other questions for that? That being said, I need to go to my citizen.
Well, I just wanted to tell Chair Edwards, are you still on?
Yes, I'm still here.
We still have the pending resolutions for the compliance for the motor scooters for insurance and state registration, as well as daylighting, as well as residential parking permit. Would you like us to present that during executive?
You can, yes. They approved by your committee?
Well, the problem is that, our committee kind of has been decimated. We don't have enough people.
Exactly.
Understood, yes. We are going to correct that problem as well. Yes, during executive, we've good. Those are 3 good resolutions that definitely are needed in this area. So I look forward to that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Victor.
So with that being said, I motion to adjourn.
Good idea.
Second.
Can I take it?
Thank you.